Ave Maria, welcome back to No Apologies. Today we're going to take a look at one last Old Testament type of Our Lady. Now this type is found in the 3rd book of Kings, and in some versions of the Bible, the 1st book of Kings, in chapter 18. In this chapter, we read about the prophet Elijah and his struggles against the idolatry of Baal, which was being practiced by many of the Israelites. If you recall, on account of their idolatry, God had punished the land by sending a severe drought. And in the midst of this drought, Elijah challenges the 450 prophets of Baal to a duel on top of Mount Carmel. They were to both take a bull and to cut it into pieces and place it on the wood as a sacrificial offering. But in the presence of all the people of Israel, they were to call upon their gods, and the God who sent fire down from heaven to consume the offering was to be declared the true God, the only God of Israel. So this they do. The prophets of Baal go first, and they prepare their bull and put it on the wood, and they begin to call out and plead to Baal to come and consume the offering. Well, nothing happens. And in the afternoon, they begin to beat themselves and cut themselves with knives, trying to get Baal to respond. But just silence. Well, Elijah steps up, and after a little bit of mockery to the false prophets, he tells the people of Israel to go and get some water and pour it on top of his offering, and to do this 3 times. So after they obeyed him, he then began to pray. And as soon as he finished praying, a huge fireball shot down from heaven and totally consumed the entire offering. The bowl, the wood, the altar it was on, and even some of the ground around the altar. Well, of course, the Israelites, as soon as they saw it, fell flat on their faces and pledged their allegiance to the one true God of Israel. So Elijah has the false prophet seized, and he puts them all to death. Now what happens next is when we begin to get into our typology. The idolatry now being stopped, the punishment of the drought is to be removed. So Elijah tells the king rain is on the way. And then he goes away from the rest and goes up onto Mount Carmel with the servant. And he tells the servant to go look out over the sea and tell him what he sees. Well, the servant comes back and says nothing. And the prophet Elijah tells him, go back and do it 7 times. Well, on the 7th time, the servant comes back, and this is what he reports. Behold, a little cloud like a man's hand is rising out of the sea. Now this cloud is our type of Our Lady. In this cloud we can see a type which supports the Immaculate Conception of Mary, and which supports the Divine Maternity of Mary. So first, the Immaculate Conception. Well, just as this cloud, which rose out of the sea, pure and light, without taking with it any of the sea's saltiness or bitterness, so Our Lady arose out of the sea of humanity, pure and immaculate, without taking with her any stain of humanity's sin. The second point about the Divine Maternity follows thus. So just as the cloud which arose out of the sea brought abundance of rain upon all the parched earth, so Our Lady, by giving birth to our Lord, brought the abundance of God's grace to all of thirsting humanity. So this is the typology of the little cloud which rose out of the sea. Now this vlog is going to end our series on Old Testament types of Our Lady. And I'd just like to make 2 points. One, for Catholics, I hope that this typology has strengthened your faith and has helped you grow in your appreciation for Our Lady and for the role which she has played and which she continues to play in our lives. And for non-Catholics, my hope is that this has given you something to consider, that nothing which Catholics teach or believe about Our Lady has just been fabricated out of thin air. But Mary and all of her privileges have been planned by God from the very beginning, and He hinted and foreshadowed this plan of Our Lady throughout the entire Old Testament. In the next coming blogs, we're going to take a look at the 4 defined teachings of Mary, and we're going to get into some more explicit evidence which supports what we believe about Our Lady. So I hope to see you then. Ave Maria.